Whenever you're ready.
Good morning. Music is very important and influential in people's lives, and there are many different types of well-known musical genres such as hip-hop, jazz, pop, and good old rock and roll. I'm here today to talk to you about something that is very important to me and has been a catalyst in my life for a very long time. I'm here today to introduce to you a genre many of you may not be too familiar with. It's called hardcore music. I'm here today to tell you about its origin, its elements and branches, and its future. If you were to ask someone who is part of this scene, what is hardcore music? They would look at you and say, it's fast, it's loud, and it's furious. And they'd be absolutely right. But there's much more to this story. In the beginning, hardcore, or as it's actually named, hardcore punk, was primarily a phenomenon in the States. And doing more research of my topic, I found out that hardcore punk's rise to popularity in the late 70s and early 80s happened in multiple cities throughout the U.S., such as Salt Lake City, Detroit, New York, and cities throughout the OC. According to Stephen Blish's novel dedicated to this style of music called The American Hardcore, musicians that had been raised on heavy metal but were influenced by punk were taking these two influences, combining them, and speeding them up into something exciting and unheard of. Bands like DC's Bad Brains, Minor Threat, and LA's Black Flag set the stage for what was to become something that was more than just a trend. The equation that sums up the hardcore element is simply this: the piercing or screaming vocals, and then there are the rhythmic breakdowns and riffs. A breakdown is simply just a change in tempo or meter in a song. And then there are the emotionally, politically, and socially driven lyrics versus the typical sex, drugs, and rock and roll theme of mainstream rock music. Put these elements all together and you have yourself a hit. If the crowd can two-step to it or mosh, the typical dance style of this genre, then you have created something someone can move to. If a listener relates and reacts to the lyrics, you have created something that can move someone. Here's a clip to pretty much sum up what two-stepping or moshing is.
Toppling, smashing, the statues go crashing, and all your ancient ideals.
So after the fucking smoke clears and the dust settles, we have one mission. Defending the family's name. We planted our flag years ago and staked our claim. This ain't war metal made for little bitches. This is war metal made for big days. In my dream, Billy Club sandwich, everybody is
This is what I go for every show. Now, during my generation, hardcore music has been the tree that sprouts many different subgenres. According to Alternative Press, one of the leading indie music magazines, all of these genres come from the influential style of music, such as metalcore, grindcore, my favorite, post-hardcore. And there are even small satirical mini genres like crunkcore and craftcore. And then there is also everything in between. genres different is the rhythm, style of singing, and outer influences. Influences that are completely out of the hardcore music spectrum, like hip-hop, R&B, ska, classical music, and even musical theater. In result, these outer influences formed a new dimension to the style of music, and these subgenres created a much bigger fan base and opportunity for many different types of musicians, writers, and singers. For the general public, metal and hardcore music are hard to accept as meaningful, progressive, and creative musical works of art. Basically, hardcore music isn't everyone's cup of tea. This is why some people believe that this style of music is still underground and not played on the radio. Paul Rackman, the director of the documentary American Hardcore, the idea based off the aforementioned tribal history written by Stephen Blish, puts hardcore into perspective. He says, the scene is still sort of this hidden secret, is still a subculture, still underground 25 years later. And I'd say I'd have to agree with Rackman. If there's one thing you learn or even find relevant in my speech today, is that hardcore music is an art form. You may not like it or agree with it, but hopefully you will learn to respect it. It is the blood, sweat, and tears of the musician, singer, and listener that keeps the heart of the scene beating, and at the same time keeping the art form true and authentic. There's a slim possibility that you will ever hear or see this music on MTV or Kiss FM, because that is not the type of popularity these artists strive for. They strive to touch the lives of their listeners and give them a place of acceptance and belonging, a sense of brotherhood. I have spoken to you today about the birth of hardcore, its elements and branches, and its future. And I leave you with a quote from Keith Buckley, lead singer of Every Time I Die, and his take on the creativity of hardcore music. He says, creativity comes not only from an awareness of influences, but from a study of how they offend you. If it weren't for MTV award shows, there would be no music devoted to its undoing. There would be no anti-plots and mini-plots and arch-plots that make direction and story writing what it is. If I didn't hate Metro Station as much as I do, I would never fully appreciate the brilliance of true music played by musicians. I am proud to be a part of a culture that will not make a countdown on a local radio station. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Oh, bless you.
I knew I had another one in there somewhere. All right, John Michael, what did you think?
She had a good attention device. She had nice topic identification, thesis, and preview. She had good internal citation. She used the music well to define what the genre is. I can see it was a topical order. She could look up a little bit more instead of reading so much, but the conclusion was good, and she also included a nice review of what we learned.
Okay.
Thank you.
See, I get to make nice comments about your speech. I should make nice comments about the evaluation, too, because you said a lot of the same things I was going to say. The opening, I think, could have been a little bit stronger, but I thought you had a very clear thesis, a good justification, preview for what we're talking about here, so I know where you're going. I like the fact that you had an early definition. You provided us some source citations on that. I thought maybe there was a little inconsistency in the sources, in the source material in the middle part of the speech when we were talking about all the subgenres, but then you got back and provided some additional information toward the end of the speech that I thought filled in nicely. I do think you need to define some. I like the examples that you have, but I'm often not sure what it is I should be hearing that's different about each subgenre. And I think maybe a little commentary as you go along, maybe highlighting what we should have gotten. Listen to the tempo change, or listen to how the lyrics are projected a particular way, or notice how there is, I don't know. It's atonal. Whatever it is that distinguishes. There's the one sound clip that is clearly distinct, and it doesn't sound anything like hardcore. It sounds like some hip hop video kind of thing. I'm going, okay, I can pick out that. Now, why does that fit into this genre? And there's got to be a reason for it, and that was a little unclear to me. But I thought that you planned the audio clips very well. The video clip goes on for a long time with nothing except the video clip, and I'm not sure how
like